A few weeks ago was our 10-year wedding anniversary, and since we pretty much don't go out anymore because we live in a very remote area, we ended up deciding to go dress up and spend the day in Lisbon, treat ourselves with a more elevated lunch at a restaurant, wander the city, and come back home. But what was supposed to be a treat and a day to celebrate ourselves turned out for the worst. Some of you might know I have celiac disease, which means I'm allergic to gluten. I grew up as a sick kid. I had all these kind of apparent diseases that never really were proven to be true by paper, but nobody knew what was going on. This went on as I became a teenager, when I started developing migraines, anemia, vitamin deficiencies, asthma, severe seasonal allergies, you name it. And then I moved to university, and everything got even worse. It was only in my early 20s that after seeing many doctors having a lot of gastrointestinal issues, losing so much weight, and being chronically sick, I asked the favor to a teacher of mine while in medical school to please get me an appointment with a gastroenterologist from the hospital, since my family doctor at that point wasn't taking me seriously anymore, and I was getting worse each day. Luckily, the moment I told him the symptoms, he knew right away that the problem that was causing this myriad of symptoms was probably gluten. After some painful tests, the results came in positive, and he recommended me to go see a celiac association where they will explain me how to proceed with my diet and new way of living. After the meeting at the association, I left with a handbook that took with me everywhere I go, where there were a list of the food and brands I could buy because it was safely gluten-free, meaning that no cross-contamination could happen. Like for example, if I bought dry onion but the onions were packed in the same factory where something with wheat was processed, it could contain gluten. And then I left with a clear message. Gluten was poison for me. If I didn't take my allergy seriously, it could silently kill me with the years. And of course, as you can imagine, my social life changed forever. It never really affected my eating habits at home, since I was used to cook and eat almost every meal at home. Of course, with a few changes of ingredients and after learning what I could consume or not, in a matter of weeks, all my problems and symptoms were gone, and finally, I felt what being healthy really meant. As I continue learning about how food and a healthy lifestyle could affect our health and well-being, my diet started to get cleaner each year. I started making my own bread, switched into an organic whole food diet, baked our daily snacks, and was more aware of the food that was more inflammatory for me and the ones that felt better. The less processed food, the less packaged food, and the less beans and dairy I ate, the better I felt. But then there were the social gatherings, and keeping a 100% gluten-free diet became an issue. Besides my effort of explaining my gluten allergy and to avoid cross-contamination, sometimes people didn't take it seriously. And 2 hours later, after eating what was supposedly a gluten-free bun or a gluten-free meal, I found myself vomiting and purging the entire meal, realizing that the bread or the meal they gave me was actually pure gluten. And that's exactly what happened the day we decided to celebrate our anniversary in Lisbon. What disappointed me the most is the fact that I called a few days prior to ask if it was possible to adapt the menu before booking a table and paying for it, to which they say yes. But then you realize that only someone who really takes pride in his work and someone's life can live up to his words. The restaurant was actually empty, and now I no wonder why. The sad part is that if gluten allergy would have an anaphylactic shock, I could have been dead. Luckily for me, my allergy doesn't create that kind of reaction, but no one really cares because for the restaurant, you are just an economic transaction and a way of paying the bills, even if it is at the cost of lying and putting yourself at risk. Due to some ugly situations like this one, I have now developed several more allergies to dairy, mushrooms, and some fruits like avocados. Each time I consume gluten, even if it is in microdoses, my entire digestive system gets pretty much destroyed, and I'm not able to absorb nutrients, even if I'm eating. The risk of developing autoimmune diseases increases, and so it does the risk of cancer. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because food could heal us, but it can also kill us, right away or slowly. So I hope I can create some awareness in these regards. Of course, I will be avoiding eating out during the following months, as I will be focusing in healing my gut and nurturing myself with homegrown meals with veggies and fruits from my garden. Over the years, I have learned what feels good to my body and what doesn't. So that during the following months, I will be making sure I take my daily probiotics in the morning and probably increase the intake of some fermented food. During these times, I like to keep my food intake really simple. Over the years, the bread recipe from my cookbook is my to-go recipe because it's the one that feels better in my stomach. I usually have a simple breakfast in the morning with olive oil, salt, maybe some arugula if I have some available from the garden, an egg, and depending how I feel, a few tomato slices. Tomatoes, onions, garlic, peppers, and eggplants are called nightshades, and I feel that sometimes are too harsh in my stomach if I'm feeling sick. Of course, when my digestive system is healthy, I can eat plenty of them. But for now, I will control how much I consume. Many of you know that I spend a lot of time in the kitchen because as a doctor, I learned the importance that food plays in our overall health and well-being. Food can be our medicine. It nourishes not only our bodies, but our souls. And I wanted my cookbook to be a representation of that. Beautifully created dishes made with nutritive and nourishing vegetables, fruits, and whole foods. With a collection of over 40 recipes, I divided it in 3 categories: drinks, baked goods, and whole meals. Since I'm allergic to gluten and intolerant to dairy, all my recipes are naturally gluten-free and dairy-free. And all of this has been possible thanks to Squarespace, which allowed me to launch my first website, an online store, back in 2014, and has allowed me to launch my second one as well. Squarespace is an amazing platform for building your brand and growing your business online. They help you to stand out with a beautiful website, which I easily created in less than a week. With their free engine, you can easily customize your website with the new drag-and-drop technology from your desktop or mobile. Their service offers many different features, such as selling physical and digital goods, blogging tools, mailing lists, member areas, or the ability to link any social media platform to your webpage, so you can share your beautiful creations with the rest of the world. If you're interested in effortlessly creating your own blog or website, go to squarespace.com/Eugenia Diaz for a free trial and a 10% off your first order of a website or domain. I will leave all the links in the description box. I look forward seeing you sharing your unique talents with the rest of the world, so we can support one another and grow as a community.